Good evening and very welcome to another episode of Treaty Talk. Tom Clancy in the hot seat and joined as ever by Matt O'Callaghan of the Weekly Observer and Vale Star newspapers. We're here in association with Knowles Menswear once again, and we have plenty to discuss this week. We have ladies football, we have a bit of hurling news, we have some men's football, and indeed an All-Ireland final in Camogie to look forward to. Plenty to cover, so do stay tuned over the next 45 minutes to an hour, and we'll take you through all the talking points in Limerick GAA games this week.
The impression the game you get out with what you put into it's like a walk of life. If you're good enough, go out and get it, no more about it.
But not so much control in the centre of the field from Kilkenny as Richie Bennett sends it high and over the bar.
Your mother sends you down to the shop for a pound's worth of goods and she gives you 50 pence. You can't get the pound's worth of goods, can you?
Just about kept in. Oh, well, Todd, surely Buckley. To do that to Tomas O'Shea, he deserves to score from here. One of the highlights of the Sunday game.
Limerick went out there from the word go today. No more about it. They made all the running, that was it. Put the ball over the bar and the back of it, and that's it. No ifs, no buts.
Is there much time left? We have a couple of injuries. Here comes Kieran Carey. Carey leading the charge of the right brigade. 45 metres out. He's a chance to score. He's put it high.
There's no sympathy in this game for anybody.
Yes, indeed. The man we reference most weeks with no sympathy in this game, Mikey Ryan, a native, I believe, of Garryowen. He celebrated his 90th birthday just last week. And I'm told Tom Ryan of Limerick GAA fame was there to celebrate it with him. So heartiest congratulations for reaching the milestone of 90 for Mikey, a man who I know was in Croke Park a couple of weeks ago as Limerick's dream for 5 ended. But that'll tell you, Matt, the devotion that man has to Limerick Gaelic games. And even he managed to get a former manager in to celebrate with him. Fantastic.
Yeah. A Ryan for a Ryan, kept it within the clan. Yeah, happiest congratulations to Michael there. He has adorned our podcast now with nearly 290. Is it, Tom? Are we?
Yeah, 289. I think this week. I'm always getting the numbers mixed up, but basically the best part of 300 times.
I've missed very few. I've only missed 6 or 7 in total in all that time, but Mikey Ryan has missed none.
Yes, so, indeed. Yeah. Well,
it would be very important, but I wish him every happiness for his 90th birthday, and here's to the next 90.
Yeah,
It is guys. It is guys like Michael Ryan that make the GAA what it is, a great organisation. And sometimes I feel, Tom, that people like him are failed by the GAA at times. First of all, in that they don't get the recognition that they should get. Because there is a true GAA man that lives for the game of obviously hurling and anything Limerick, I'd say. Yeah. And, when it comes to tickets, we see about the scramble for tickets now. And I was watching the Tonight Show last night, and there was a guy on there who gave a lowdown of he wasn't from the GAA, he was a journalist, who gave the lowdown of the distribution of the tickets.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of it is sad, a lot of the tickets have been hijacked by people that turn out at GAA matches once a year.
At best.
And that is not what Cusick founded this association for.
Yeah.
Far from it.
No, indeed.
So, that disappoints me. And, the like of Michael Ryan, they've given a lifetime to it. Yeah, never have looked for a reward for it.
No, and he's and the video, to reference the video, he's supporting it, and Limerick weren't winning much around then. And just to show for anyone watching, there's the photo with the great Tom Ryan. And then look, and if anyone will be saying he's a GAA man, he's a sportsman, is the Gerlines crest there on the cake, Gerlines AFC there in Garryowen. So someone who, I suppose, a bit like myself, Matt, and yourself, a lover of all things sports in Limerick and all the rest of it, and sporting Limerick as we are here under this umbrella,
and fair play to Tom. Well done, Tom, for coming over and acknowledging it. No better man, and I have no doubt whatever stories and anecdotes Michael Ryan would have, Tom would have better.
Yeah, that's it. Well, in the words of the man himself, no more about it. happy 90th to him. And now
Yeah.
we'll get into
But
the
if we just go back to that footage,
yes,
I hope people have noticed by this stage that behind him, at that stage when that footage was taken, is an up and coming character, a
yes.
certain Bob Carroll immediately behind him.
No
In,
sombrero now in
in
tow, you
that,
know.
no. Yeah, but he was coming. I think he had an ordinary Limerick hat on him.
Yes, yeah. He was putting in the hard yards now before he
He was
became.
putting in the hat the hours before he came to the shop.
That's it. Yeah, well, it's an iconic piece of
Yeah,
footage
Martin
in
Cleary
Limerick.
from Duquesne is very prominent there, and Gary Hayes from Milford in County Cork is also very prominent. I know those two as well, but
Yeah,
there are a couple of familiar faces that I struggle to find, to name them, but it was classical on a day in which I presume Limerick won,
that's it. Well, they put the ball over the bar and into the back of the net. It would appear anyway. We'll
Certainly
if
Kieran Carey put the ball over the bar. There
yes,
wasn't any doubt about that.
yeah. If
As,
anyone else
as
know,
Claire will testify.
yeah, if anyone else knows anyone in that video that we haven't identified, do let us know. It'd be interesting to see
It'd be
where
very,
they're at.
very interesting to see, yeah.
Yeah. It seems to be all corners of the county, really, when you break it down. Now, on to matters arising, I suppose, from last weekend's games and ups and downs, definitely for Limerick across the different codes, and unfortunately, a couple of downs and a couple of negatives for the ladies footballers. Matt, we'll come to the Underage defeat in a moment. I can see you're wincing there in a bit of disappointment. The ladies footballers couldn't make the trip back to Croke Park, defeated in the semi-final 2-10 to 2-12 against old rivals Fermanagh, and just disappointing that they couldn't get over that semi-final hurdle this year.
Yeah, I'm extremely disappointed that they didn't, and I'm extremely disappointed for Mike and Sean and the group of girls because, yes, they won promotion, fair play to them, but they came so near to winning Division 4 and now came so near to an appearance in Croke Park. And I have seen this team. I've seen them a number of times. I wasn't in Longford, but I have seen them quite often. I've seen them 5 or 6 times during the year, and I have seeing them evolving into being a very, very potent force, as they prepare for Division 3 football next season. And I honestly believe that, going to Longford, and it was their second trip there this year, that they had a decent chance. And it was their third trip there in a year, because 12 months ago they beat Fermanagh at the very same venue, 10 points to 1-6. And you can see the trend that there is very, very little between them. There was only 2 points in Fermanagh's favour. They flipped it this time. It was a point in Limerick's favour the last time when they met in the league in McNeville Park. I saw that game earlier on this year. There was 5 points between them, but Limerick really had issues at that particular stage of the competition. That was crystallised that particular day, and it was with putting the ball over the bar or putting the ball into the net, which they subsequently addressed with great success, may I say. And in ladies football at that level, 2-10 would win most games, Tom.
It would, yeah. Very, very close. As it would, yeah.
It would win very many of them anyway. And it was disappointing. And when Debbie Murphy got that second goal, they were really, really in the hunt. And it was the concession of that penalty, which Miss Smith tucked away, that finally undid Limerick. And it was a very, very, very close call. And of course, when Fermanagh got their noses in front on the home straight, they really battened down the hatches, and Limerick just couldn't find a fault line or find a way through, and Fermanagh held out. But we're holding on at the finish now. I think they got a late point. There was a late exchange of points maybe, but Limerick just couldn't get that extra bit, and it would be extremely, extremely disappointing. But they've come a long way this year. I know they were in the All-Ireland final last year, but coming out of the league and winning promotion, that was sort of a holy grail for Limerick. And, you'd have to be satisfied after the championship. The win in Longford, I know the defeat to Louth and now the defeat to Fermanagh. that they are well equipped, to go into Division 3 now. It's going to be a big step up.
Yeah,
No,
but
we were there about 5 or 6 years ago, and it was not a happy hunting ground.
yeah,
But it's going to be a big step up. But I think from what I've seen in the last couple of games, they've become more and more equipped as time has gone on. And had they got over the semi-final on Saturday or Sunday, my apologies, going into Croke Park for an All-Ireland final would have been a huge boost in terms of of building up momentum for Division 3 next year. But it is what it is. They're out of the championship. They're out with their heads held high. But that's poor consolation to be bystanders when Fermanagh and Louth will lock horns in the All-Ireland final in early August.
Yeah, and it was goals from Roisin Ambrose in the first half. A brilliant team move. She palmed it to the net, and then Deborah Murphy striking one to the net in the second half. And I think in both instances it put Limerick ahead, certainly in Deborah Murphy's case. But
it did. It put Limerick ahead going down the home straight.
Just
and of
couldn't
course,
build on it. Couldn't get that next score or two to kind of copper fasten the advantage,
No. And we were saying last week, and I was saying it last week about the importance of Debbie Murphy being fit.
She did a great game. She did great.
I think she showed that.
Oh yeah.
Showed it in spades what she means to the team.
Yeah.
So I'm very disappointed, Tom. I'm disappointed for him. It has been a long year. I remember the second round of the league and a very, very wet Friday evening over in Doon, against Derry. And, that's way back. I think it might have been in January or certainly the first week.
I would say it was, yeah. I think they got going in January, and I saw them. I happened to be in UL one evening in December. It was an under-21 hurling match on, and then the pitch adjacent. They were playing UL in a challenge match with, the bulk of the players that we probably saw Sunday. Or not certainly a good cohort of them, and they were running the rule over a number of prospects for the year ahead. So it's been going probably since late November, early December. They've been.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
They've been running the rule over players and everything that goes with it. So it isn't. They didn't just pick it up in the springtime and give it a go. It's disappointing from that end that there's no, I suppose maybe no national silverware, and I know they won the Munster, the B crown, but I suppose they were really thinking after last year's agonising defeat in Croke Park that at the very least they'd be back on that stage again. But look, I think
Tom, they set their target pretty high in the championship, and it was ultimate success. And you can say that all counties do that when they haven't something. Most of them when they haven't a pup's chance of getting there.
Yeah.
But Limerick had well-founded and a realistic chance of getting there, as you said, after winning the Munster Senior B, which was a great competition to be introduced, and it helped them along the way. Having reached the league final, were distinctly unlucky that day in Bor, and getting the championship off to a perfect start, going to Longford and winning there, and it all looked very well and was auguring well for a real chance of getting back at Croke Park, but sadly it wasn't to be.
Yeah, and I suppose we just hope they'll bounce back. And the final point I think we should make on it is that hopefully the Division 3 campaign next year, as challenging as it will be, will have them in good position coming into the championship and playing at that slightly higher level, and maybe having a different opposition. Because some of the teams in Division 4 haven't really tested the players maybe the way that you really want to in terms of development. So, there's merit in that.
Very good point, well made, Tom. Like that,
yeah.
There are 8 teams in Division 3, and before you start, you can write off 3 and possibly 4 of them as being contenders. So, like you instead of looking at 4 out of 8 coming into the semi-finals, you're possibly looking out at 5, 6 the most, because there's a couple of counties, and they shall remain nameless in this piece, but they don't have a chance, and it's going to be a huge challenge in Division 3, but it should stand to them, Tom, particularly when they'll go back into the championship next year.
That's it.
Go back into the Munster B competition.
Yeah, and because you were looking at Louth who've come down for intermediate as well, and Limerick were played 2 ex-intermediate teams in their group, and they were the tougher days out, But look, there's plenty to be optimistic, and the main thing now, as I've often said about ladies football and Camogie Limerick, they need to keep the majority of those players involved going into next year. That's the trick, isn't it? Continuity.
That's the trick. And then you're talking about 2 teams coming down from intermediate. We were faced with the same thing last year, believe it or not.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
So
the group of days, as it were.
Because you last year you had Sligo and Down coming down, and this year you're Longford and Louth, So
yeah. I know, challenging, yeah. Just to move it to the under 16s, and it didn't get too much better for them. Well, they were out first, as it were, on Saturday, and more anguish at the hands of Antrim, Matt. 112 to 1-7 in Kinnegad. I know. It seems to be, I wouldn't say a running joke, because it's it's just one of those things. Bar the Camogie, where Limerick relegated Antrim.
It's a serious joke, but
I know.
That's
Antrim are laying down on us.
That's the second competition All-Ireland final that they have beaten us in this year in ladies football. And if you throw in the All-Ireland Minor A Shield final in Nolan Park last year,
Camogie, yeah.
That's 3 in 12 months. So I have enough of them, as I said before. But Limerick were very, very much in the hunt, and it ended 112 to 1-7, 112 to 1-8 actually, wasn't it? And the Antrim goal only came in the 33rd minute of the second half.
Right, so that pushed it from 1 to 4 points, basically.
It was really in the melting pot, right up to the finish, and but Limerick again just couldn't get over the line, and they lost. It was possibly an opportunity lost, and I know we'll be talking about the Camogie in a minute, and I'll be referencing back to the football when we're talking to the Camogie, Tom.
Okay, yeah. Well, hard luck to both sides there, and I suppose particularly the under 16. It's hopefully the one of very few heartbreaks to have in the Limerick jersey, but I suppose it's their first steps in a lot of ways on the inter-county journey, and hopefully many more positive ones to come into the future. I think, Matt, we should flip now towards hurling, and there's Limerick involvement in the All-Ireland Senior Hurling Final again. We had it in 2018, we had it in 2020, we had it in 2019. I'll come to that in a second. We had it every year, more or less, since 2018. 2019, there was a man, Johnny Murphy, he was linesman, and 2024 is the year that he is selected to referee the All-Ireland Final. Now, before you say anything, Matt, I spoke with our friends on Live 95 about this the other day, and there's a couple of different talking points with this. First of all, we must congratulate him on his appointment. It's fantastic.
Oh, absolutely.
When you consider, I'm not sure how many senior All-Ireland finals there's been, including replays. Is it only about 140 or maybe 135, is it?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. That's only 135 men, and I think it's always been a man, and some of them would have done 2 or 3. So that's probably...
Oh, they did, yeah, good for you, yeah.
There's only been 125 men, shall we say, that have officiated the All-Ireland final, and now we have a Limerick man in the middle of it. It's I think when you look at it like that, it's kind of easy to say, sure, they could have given it to anyone or this. But when you look at it to say, hang on now, in the history of this association, a Limerick man now is reffing it, and he's in a very, very exclusive club, because a lot of people have All-Ireland medals. There's 15 plus given out every year, but there's only one man in the middle, and we must congratulate Johnny. Now, I think we'll stay positive. We'll come to maybe some of the negative commentary around it.
I just tell you something I said to him about 5 years ago,
Go on, yeah. I hope you never get one.
Yeah, I said, I hope you, no, I did not say that. I hope you won't get one for years. And he looked at me askance. I said, I hope it'll be an autumn, So, but little did I think it was purely in jest. Little did I think that Limerick would be in so many of them now.
Yeah, in 2018, he refed the All-Ireland minor final. I think, not sure the year. He's refed the under-20 All-Ireland final as well.
Yeah, he's refereed the All-Ireland club final.
The club final only recently. He's done the senior final in Limerick. He's done all grades, and they're the high points. But as you were saying to me before we started, you could easily find him doing an under-13 game around South Limerick or anywhere else.
I can tell this, and I'll be talking about it later, about the Brewery tournament, which was on the other night, and there were 4 games in it, and there was, in between, there was an under-8 exhibition game.
Right.
Johnny Murphy did all 5 games. All 5, mark you. And I have photographic evidence to prove it, but he did all 5, and he refereed a juvenile match in Kilfinnan last night.
Yeah. Well, that'll tell you now.
It tells me, I've taken on some obnoxious individuals who impugned his character on social media. I've taken him on there in the last month, and I think that says it all about the man, what I'm after saying.
Yeah,
the man of the highest character.
It does, and I've met him coaching a Ballylanders underage team. I think maybe his own son is involved.
Absolutely.
And he's at the grassroots, and as I said, and to be quoting myself, but he's not a professional referee, and in the way that some of the Premier League ones are, the English rugby referees or whatever it is. This is a a volunteer role, and he's not going to be, he's not going to be building a mansion after refereeing this final. He's just going out reffing it for the love of it and the involvement of it.
Just one thing I must point out, though, is that he won county senior football. He played in the Munster senior football final with Limerick.
Yes, yeah, of course.
He won a county senior football medal or 2 with Ballylanders, and he won a county junior hurling medal with Glenroe.
Right. So I know strange. Yeah.
This Nick of the Woods is very, very, very happy. He's universally happy for the man. Absolutely.
Yeah. We haven't mentioned his team around it now. Liam Gordon of Galway is standby referee, and indeed one of the linesmen, or the line umpires as they're now being referred to. Michael Kennedy of Tipperary is also in that role. And Chris
I just want to say something
Dublin
there about Michael Kennedy. In my opinion, is one of the upcoming referees.
Yeah, I think he ref Limerick.
I've seen him a number of times, and I see people criticising Tomas Walsh. I thought Tomas Walsh had a very good All-Ireland semi-final.
Yeah, I thought he was brilliant.
We said it last week, and nothing will change my opinion on that.
No,
but they are his 2 linesmen, and then you have James Hickey, a former referee and a former secretary of the South Board. You have Mike Mead, who is currently refereeing.
Yeah.
You have Andy Dooley, who plays in goals for Gary Spillane. And you have the one and only great Jimmy Barry Murphy, who will be making up his umpire team.
Not the Jimmy Barry Murphy from Cork now. We must clarify that. Not the Jimmy Barry Murphy, but our own Jimmy Barry Murphy.
It's the Jimmy Barry Murphy that's well known in Limerick GAA circles.
Yeah, and the man we'd see often around playing football for his club. Just to bring on the conversation, like obviously we hope Johnny has a great game, and he isn't part of the conversation.
I don't have to hope that, Tom, because I know he will.
Oh yeah, well I suppose that's it. Like and look, he hopefully the only talking point around him is that on Monday morning, Sunday evening is, Jesus, he had a fine game, and he called this right and he called that right. And look, there will always be hurling is such a difficult game.
Oh, it's like it was graphically shown, and I think the Connolly incident really crystallizes that, Tom, because I could look at the Connolly incident 100 times. The famous throw ball, and you would say 100 times it was a thrown ball, but because when RTE got the camera in slow motion, it was then that you could see the separation.
Yeah, well, a slow motion.
But I think it graphically shows, Tom, that the kind, and you're starting off now in a refereeing career, and it graphically shows the difficulties that referees have to make with that on the spot decisions. Was it a throw ball or was it not?
Yeah. That's
and for the most part, Tom, they get it 100% right.
They do, and I suppose to reiterate, like, what people who've maybe never done it, and look, I've done a very limited amount of it, so I'm very inexperienced at it. But one thing I've noticed, and and I've refed a minor game this day last week or thereabouts, and like when the ball is being struck in between 2 players, you're looking to see, is the ball maybe, it will just take one example into corner forward. Is the ball still in play? Is the defender holding him? Is the attacker holding the defender? And then when the ball goes to ground, did he pick it legally? Was there a chop? Did he play the hurley? And this is you're looking at both players. And then, there's 101 different things. And then when it's in their hand, were they pulled back? Did they overcarry? Etc. Etc. There's just like you're asking yourself these questions over and over again. Now Johnny has to do this for 70 minutes straight, with 82,000 people looking down on him. And look,
and possibly a million people watching.
That's it, yeah. And look, he'll be well, familiar with the rules and all the rest of it, and he'll be well able to implement them. I've no doubt about it. But that's the challenge. And if he can get every decision right, or in people's eyes, if he can get most decisions right, I tell you, he'll go a long way on Sunday. And look, I think he will. He'll get every decision right. And you must remember, not giving a decision is also a decision, as in not blowing the whistle sometimes is also a correct decision. People say, he didn't give any frees, but sure, he mightn't have had to, or he gave a lot of frees, but he might have had to.
I think
take a step back.
Nice to hear that perspective from somebody that's trying to make an effort to go up along the line. And I was talking to a referee on Sunday as well, who made some of those points to me, because we were talking about it, and we're particularly talking about the Connolly incident,
Yeah.
And he was of the same opinion to me. No matter how many times he watched it on television, he was given a throw ball all day until it was in slow motion and the focus was in.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. There's a magnifying glass in it,
Yeah, but that's when we figured it out. I'm wondering about the value of this kind of analysis.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if you can't, if you watch it 4 or 5 times on a TV camera and you can't decide, then maybe you don't really need to be slowing it down. It's nice to know maybe if it's right or wrong, but maybe you don't need to be chastising people over that. But look, we're wishing Johnny all the best. Him and his team of officials, obviously the 5 Limerick men
absolutely, every good wish, and I just really hope for that, and I know that everything is going to go fine for Johnny, because he's that type of man,
And I think anyone who's maybe in the participating counties or beyond need to if they're going to be passing comments, maybe wait till something has happened or hasn't happened. At least wait till the game has. And I'm not saying
the minute he was appointed, they were at it.
Yeah. The game was apparently ruined before it even started. But sure.
Well, yeah. So some of it was awful stuff,
That's it.
I honestly believe that the platforms should have some system of filtering that nonsense out.
Yeah, well, I suppose I do, and it's called closing the phone. So, easier said than done sometimes. But anyway, the game itself, Matt, we're just touching it briefly. Look, as we know, Limerick not involved, first time since 2019, and it was Tipperary and Kilkenny on that occasion. But it's 2 of our Munster rivals this time, Cork and Clare. How do you see this one going? Hopefully it's going to be a thrilling game.
I expect a thrilling game, Tom. Yeah, that's how I see it going. I'm expecting Cork to win.
Right. Yeah, you think Cork are going to go on it?
That's it in a nutshell, Now, I would still be slightly wary of Clare.
Yeah.
I would be wary of how the Cork full back line will be able to deal with the type of play of Shane O'Donnell.
Yeah, that's it. And you add in...
And how they'll deal with the ramblings of Tony Kelly. We haven't seen Tony Kelly at his best this year yet, so... there is danger there. There is danger there. And, how will the Cork half-forward line fare against the Clare half-back line? Dermot Ryan, I suppose, the least experienced of the 3, but an exceptionally good hurler. And then you have John Conlon and David McInerney, who are survivors since 2013. Looks a very, very strong line, but you'll wonder with the way Shane Barrett and Declan Dalton move around the place. Will time catch up on them? You'd fear maybe that may happen as the game progresses. Then you'll have the battle with Harnedy will be the ultimate ball winner, and against Dermot Ryan. So, and the matchups will be terribly important. Like you have David Fitzgerald midfield for Clare, Dara Fitzgibbon midfield for Cork, and whoever their partners will be, probably Timmy Mahoney, maybe. I think Cork will probably start Kieran Joyce in the half-back line. And probably Cathal Malone, I would imagine, for Clare.
Yeah.
So it's going to be very, very interesting, Tom. Very, very, very interesting.
Mm.
At Clare, will they have learned from the defeat of Limerick? Possibly will.
Yeah.
You know, can they get the measure of a Cork team that's absolutely flying? And sometimes it's lost. You know, when people reflect on Cork's performance in the Munster Championship, they reflect on the win over Limerick and the win over Tipperary. They were distinctly unlucky. Had they not had players sent off in the previous 2 games, they would probably have been out the gate with 4 straight wins and in the Munster final, and it could have changed the whole dynamic of everything.
Yeah, that's true. They were 7 points up against Clare, of course, the first day out, the first time they met, and before that, maybe I don't think the people were overly enthused by their performance against Waterford. Now, when I know that the man sent off and the concession of a penalty, and they still only lost by a goal, which you could say, but that was the score.
And then believe it or not, there was people lowering their chances of ultimate success, which was less than 5-star performances against Offaly and Dublin. All you can do is play what is put in front of you, and it's a question of getting the job done.
Yeah.
And they were a very important game, and I will always refer back to a game, Tom. In 2018, when we only got into the championship by the skin of our teeth, we survived in the championship, and we played a game against Carlow in Dr. Cullen Park. And people were saying, sure, what good is it, and this, that, and the other thing. It allowed Limerick sort out an awful lot of problems. It got the defeats in Munster out of their system. And it set them up to beat Kilkenny in the quarter-final. I'm convinced of it.
Yeah. Got out a bit of the dirty diesel, as they say.
Yeah, Cork's performance against Offaly and Cork's performance against Dublin, they still got the job done.
Yeah. My own viewing is I'm flip-flopping between who I think will win. I'd be concerned for Cork, and people might think I'm mad considering they've just defeated Limerick, scoring 128, was it? But they didn't concede a goal against Limerick, but on another day they could have conceded 2, 3, 4 goals, look, ifs and buts and all that, but I'd be concerned. They do give up so many opportunities. Now, I don't think Clare have enough in their arsenal, in terms of will all 6 Clare forwards chip in with 2, 3 scores from play.
Yeah, that is a problem. But in the early stages of the competition against Waterford, against Clare, against Limerick, even against Tipperary, Cork were conceding an awful lot of scores.
Yeah. I think didn't they concede? Apart from the Tipperary game, they were conceding 3 goals a game. They conceded 3.
They were conceding 3 goals a game in all 3. Yeah.
They conceded 328 against Clare, 326 against Limerick. I just off the top of my head, and they can 318 or 19 against Offaly. Now they've kept back-to-back clean sheets, but I think Dublin didn't really go for a goal against them, and then Limerick obviously on another day, as I say, could have easily rippled the net a couple of times. That's my concern for Cork, but I just think if you were to line up the 6 forwards against each other and the form they're in and the cohesion of them as a unit, I think it's Cork 6 at the moment, plus a couple of subs to come in, like Robbie O'Flynn. You might have heard it through the TV the last day, or if anyone who was at the stadium, the boost that when he came on, like it was kind of like the Messiah. Now maybe he hasn't done enough in the Cork shirt for me to deserve that, but like there's a guy that they know is capable of something major, and he's coming in there too.
That's precisely it. But when he has come on, Tom, he has delivered, and he has been dogged by injury.
Yeah, he has,
like an awful lot of people in Cork would view that, were it not for his succession of injuries, that Robbie O'Flynn would be nearly an automatic starter.
Oh yeah, he'd be firmly in there, yeah. And now at the moment, you'd wonder who he'd be taken out of there given the form. But look, it took them a while to get to the 6 that they have now. You must remember Conor Lehane started the first day. I think 2 or 3 of them were taken off against Waterford. They were a bit scattered, but now they've landed on what they believe to be the perfect formula. And look, and the only thing I know, and Clare will know from 2013. Does anyone have a trick up their sleeve? Shane O'Donnell was the trick card in 2013 replay. do either of them have something that,
Did the
the
Ghost
rabbit?
come back and haunt Cork?
Yeah, does someone have the rabbit out of the hat here on Sunday? Look, I'm going to gleam a Cork as well, but very, very tight. I think.
Yeah, I'm leaning with Cork, and it is like it's 19 years since they won in All Ireland,
A lifetime, really, isn't it? Yeah.
which is a lifetime and a sacrilege in Cork.
Yeah, that's it. Well,
They've such a love for hurling,
that's it. Yeah. Very long time. Well, it would be a very long winter if they were defeated once again by the men from the Banner. So that's Sunday afternoon. Best of luck to Johnny and co officiating it. Not that they'll need much luck, but hopefully it's an enjoyable experience for them on the biggest day of all in hurling. Just to mention, Matt, other bits and pieces in hurling will come to Broree's tournament that we're at the weekend in a moment, but the Junior B League final, the last of the league finals, takes place this Friday. Granabel and Gary versus South Liberties in Kilmallock, 7:30 p.m. start, and I believe a Brewery man, Dave Deedy, is officiating that one. So I think that brings us nicely on towards Brewery's tournament.
Dave is he's a very busy man these times. He was manager of the Limerick Junior Camogie team there all the year, and he's of course a well-known referee and has refereed at provincial level last year, you will recall.
Yeah.
And he was one of the driving forces behind the Jim O'Brien Memorial Tournament, which I was at.
Over €3,000 raised, I believe.
Sorry?
Over €3,000, I was told, raised for.
Yeah, there's over 3,000. There was no charge going in, and there were buckets or donation boxes inside, and it has raised just short of 3,200 at the moment. But
Right.
it was a beautiful sense of occasion, and there was no little nostalgia there, because like Jim O'Brien had made such a contribution on and off the field for Brewery, and looking down, he would probably be absolutely delighted with it. Now, last week I mentioned his 5 sons. I forgot to mention Marie, his daughter. Marie, if you're looking, my apologies again.
Yeah.
We're very much part of the clan.
Correct the record, Matt. Good man.
Yeah, all his family were there. James Vincent was unavoidably absent, but Jim's wife, Anne, was there, and she presented the Brewery won the tournament now. And Brewery beat Croom in the first round. Cappamore beat Brewery in the second round. Croom beat Cappamore in the third round. And on scoring difference, Brewery and Cappamore got through to the final, and Brewery won it 112 to 9 points. Now, very fittingly, they named Fionn O'Brien as the team captain. Now, Fionn O'Brien was a minor goalkeeper for Limerick 2 years ago. He was the Artskull Reach goalkeeper this season and last season. He's the son of John O'Brien, a former Limerick goalkeeper and a great player with Brewery. But fittingly also, he was the grandson of Jim O'Brien.
Yeah. So he lined out in goals as captain, was it?
He captained the team from goals, yeah.
Yes, brilliant.
Played in goals. And it was fitting that the Jim O'Brien Memorial Trophy, first of all, that should be won by Brewery on its maiden outing. And secondly, that it would be captained by one of Jim's family. It added to the sense of occasion. And as I said, Johnny Murphy refereed all the games. He got an absolutely huge reception from the crowd that were there.
Very good, yeah.
Everybody was just willing him on. Anne O'Brien, as I said, presented the trophy. Gerard O'Brien presented the player of the match to Jimmy O'Dea. And David O'Brien, who you know from well known in umpiring circles, David made a presentation to Johnny Murphy. And John O'Halloran acted as MC. There was a few brief words from Anne, and there was a lovely few words from Jim's son, John, who recalled many things that a lot of people hadn't known about the great Jim, and some lovely anecdotes. But it was a wonderful evening. There was barbecue, there was shop. There was a great sense of occasion, absolute great sense of occasion. It was everybody pulling the one way, and they'd done a great effort in preparing the place, in preparing the grounds for it. Absolutely fantastic, Tom.
Yeah, well, congratulations to all concerned, and we look forward to next season's already. I was told the burgers, Matt, were only €3 or €4. Jesus, I tell you, you would do well now in this day and age to get a nice barbecue burger for that, and giving it to good cause, So that'll tell you now. They had it all,
Yeah.
they had it all right on the night. Everything was
Everything was spot on. And of course, the Almighty, I suppose, Jim interceded with the Almighty because it was a beautiful evening.
And his grandson
And
keeps a clean sheet in the final. Did you say 112-9?
yeah, and if you
Ah,
know Brewery now, the car park was full.
yeah,
There were cars down as far as the village at one side and as far up at the other side.
yeah.
Plus, everybody's yards and fields were raided for
Yes,
party.
yeah. Ah, brilliant. Yeah, yeah.
No,
Well,
it was a great sense of occasion, and well done to Brewery, and absolutely fantastic that somebody like Jim O'Brien should be remembered for the contribution that he made.
yeah, I'm sure now after that they'll make it an annual event, and
Oh, it's
we look
going to be
forward.
an annual event.
Yeah,
It has to be. Yeah.
we look forward to next year, and hopefully get bigger and better as time
And be
goes on.
sure, Tom, and clear your diary to come for the burgers.
That's it. Yeah, oh yeah, I have it penciled in here now in front of me on my calendar for next July or whatever they have it. Right. Moving along to just to look back on a bit of football now. Our predictions, Matt. I didn't want to mention them last week because you'd have struggled to keep that hat on. You'd have had a swelled head, after 2 rounds of predictions. I just bring them up on screen here now. Matt, if you can read that there, leading the way, 13 points. John Keogh is putting up the rear with 9, and I'm stuck in the middle on 11. So, Matt, you've got the correct margin twice, the exact correct score that was giving you 3 points, and I got it once. John yet to hit a bingo, as we say, and other than that, we're kind of tit for that with the results. I suppose the big letdown for us was yourself and myself. I think we both tipped Galtee Gales last round, and we were left eating humble pie. But there was not too many shocks in the senior football championship so far. But early days in our little predictions league, all a bit of fun anyway between us here on Treaty Talk. So
I wish to God that the next round was on for Galtee Gales, and that I'd get the prediction right, because Bob Childs isn't the only
he'll
one.
leave you alone. They'll all leave you alone. Well, look, they might want to continue to lean against them, and maybe your good luck the other way or whatever.
And well, no, I leaned for him in the first round.
Oh, that's right, actually. Yeah. Well, they might, after last week's result over Valleystein.
But it's classical. You're only as good as your last prediction, Tom,
That's it. Very true, yeah. Well, you're leading the way narrowly at this point, but myself and John Keogh will be plotting in the background for your downfall.
I wouldn't say plotting. I would say scheming.
Scheming. Oh, yes. Well, we'll look to narrow the gap. And just matched to the Griffins coaches intermediate championship. There was a couple of games we did mention them last week. They were going to play last Thursday and Friday in the main. I think even a couple on Saturday. Castlemahan had to play 2 games quick fire. They were beaten in the second of those. Sorry, they
beat St. Patrick's by a point in the first one. They lost the second one by a point to St. Senans, 212-114. And in the other game, Newcastle West, who were making their debut at this level after being promoted as Premier Junior champions last year, they had a 5-3 points victory over Gerald Griffins.
Yeah, actually, I have it here. 5-4. It was 9 scores apiece. 9 scores apiece, but they won by 10 points. 19 points to 10. 5 goals and 4 points. Isn't too often, Matt, we see teams scoring more goals than points and indeed winning the game. And Gerald Griffins, they've been a side in the mix for many years.
Oh, yeah, and it was so lucky last year. The Ran Mungret so close in the and Drumcolor Bradford so close in the final rounds, which cost them progression in the competition. So, yeah, that's 2 they're down now this year.
Yeah, beaten by Drum Bradford the first round.
But they have it all to do now when we come back in mid-August. Tom, time is flying, but we have to mention Camogie.
Absolutely, yeah. That's where we're headed next. Camogie is just to briefly, Matt, to mention the Masters footballers playing Kerry this weekend. It's their final group fixture, I believe. It's being played in
their final group fixtures. Both teams are through into their respective knockout competitions. That's what it would appear.
Yeah.
Just as a matter of interest, Limerick have 2 wins to date against Clare and Waterford, 3 defeats to Offaly, to London, Cork and Mayo. Kerry, they had 4 wins on the trot against Cork, against Galway, against Kildare. But they lost the last game anyway. I'm missing one there.
Right.
It is gone, Tom. But they lost the last game against Dublin by a point. And
Right.
it was played in all places, Salt Hill.
Okay. Right. They must have been looking for a nice long weekend up there. But anyway, whatever the agreement was there. Yeah. So that's Kerry anyway. Drumcolour, remind me the day. It's Saturday afternoon, I believe. Is it?
It's Friday night at 8 o'clock
Friday
in
night.
Drum.
Oh, apologies. Yeah, Friday night, 8 p.m. in Drumcolour. Should be an interesting one. The stars of yesteryear, or which way are you looking at it? The stars of the future or the present for the master sides? Wishing them all the best in that one. And indeed, knockout
The
football.
Masters hurling competition, Tom, is due to start, I think, around the 3rd of August.
Right. We'll have that fixture. We'll have the fixtures of that maybe next week and beyond. But good to see that's nearly up and running. Exciting
There's
times.
7 counties in it. I'm not sure if it is a full round robin or whether they're divided into a group of 3 and a group of 4.
Yeah.
It's the inaugural year. Of course, Limerick have won this competition a couple of times in a previous incarnation when Mike Weeks was organising him and Rory Kiley were involved in it. But it has been suspended for a number of years. Quite why, I don't know, but it is what it is. But it's back anyway. And
wishing them
Limerick
the best
have
in their
named
win.
that panel. We discussed it there a couple of weeks ago. And it'll be interesting to see. They played a game against Croke in a friendly there recently. I don't know what the outcome of it was. But they're getting ready.
That's it, yeah. And in August there, it looks like for those, and we'll get clarity on the format as time goes on. Matt, you mentioned it there, Camogie, and those who are very interested in Camogie in Limerick will be delighted to have learned last weekend of the progression to the Under-16A final for the young stars of Limerick at 13 points to 12 over the Cats, and always a sweet one when you win by 1, definitely in a semi-final. And now they have an All-Ireland final with Galway this week to look forward to, heading back to UPMC Nolan Park in Kilkenny for that one. So All-Ireland final week, it's a very exciting time for this crop of players and the management.
Yeah, I'll talk about him in a minute, Tom. I'll talk about him in a minute. You know what's coming. There's a rant.
Right.
At least
Drop
5
yourselves in.
players. At least 5 players that turned out with Limerick in the All-Ireland semi-final last Sunday in Mallow played in the All-Ireland football final the day before in Kilbeggan.
Right.
An absolute disgrace. An absolute disgrace. Can anybody justify it? I think it was a disgrace. Now, I'll talk about the girls, some of the girls that were involved afterwards, but why does this have to happen? The sooner we have the integration, the better, Tom.
Yeah.
End of part 1.
Right. Part 2.
Part 2. How in the name of God are they promoting Camogie by having the All-Ireland final between Limerick and Galway in Nolan Park at 4:30 on the Saturday evening?
It's part of a double header, Matt, isn't it?
I don't care what is part of, Tom.
Oh, I'm just giving a bit of context on it, yeah.
Yeah, but that's giving context on it, but it's a disgrace. There was one venue and one venue only for that, in my opinion, and that was Innis.
Right.
Taking Galway across the country to Kilkenny, taking us up, some people from West Limerick right up to Kilkenny. And they've gone mad. Absolute mad.
I'm only speculating here, does it fall down on the fact that the Camogie wouldn't have always be given access to certain venues, and I'm not casting aspersions on Clare GAA now for not opening the gates to Ennis, but is there a possibility there that certain counties and certain venues were said no, we'll have
but I'll
Camogie
tell you another one, Tom.
Right.
Kilkenny beaten Limerick and Cork beaten Galway. Kilkenny and Cork was in Nolan Park.
Right. So that was where it was headed for.
An absolute disgrace, in my opinion, Tom.
Yeah.
And
look, I mean,
people have to talk up and talk out about it.
Yeah.
Now, I was at the game last Saturday night, last Sunday evening, and I never came away as proud from any game, hardly, apart from the All Ireland hurling finals. After what I had seen the girls do, but to have this kind of thing going on in the background, and there was a number, and I've said it a number of times this year, Tom, that there were a number of games this year in which when I was doing previews in the newspaper, in the Vale Star and the Weekly Observer, I had to put down the venue as at to be confirmed. It's like that another in some teams.
Yeah.
To be confirmed, that majestic or mythical, or I don't know what you call it. But in this day and age, that's not acceptable at all, Tom.
No,
Rant over.
Right.
Congratulations to the girls. They were absolutely, Tom, they were absolutely fantastic. And as I said, there was 5 of them.
Yeah, I'll just bring up the panel here, Matt, for I know it's a bit small print, but
it is.
You've a fine spread of clubs there. I can tell from looking at it, and I wouldn't know many of the players now. But look,
Tom, you'd have to say before we talk about the players that Dermot Ryan and his management team, they've done a fantastic job. Jonathan Hayes of Ahan is with him, Margaret Long of Tournafulla, Paul Doherty of Treaty Gales, and Tal O'Grady, who is well known of Patrick's Well, and who has 2 daughters on the team. Rachel, who was playing centre forward, and Sophie, who was playing left half forward on the team. This has been, it's gone under the radar a small bit, Tom. This has been an incredible odyssey for Limerick Camogie. They won a first Munster under 16 A championship last year, and they retained it this year. Now, they didn't root up any trees in the All Ireland Championship last year, but they learned from it. No, there are a number of girls that were there last year are there again this year. And here we are. We finished 4th after the group stages. Kilkenny finished top, unbeaten, including 13 points to 9 defeat, win over Limerick in Newcastle West in round 2.
Yeah.
But
So just have it there. Sorry, just to kind of fly through the results. They beat Tipperary. Limerick beat Tipperary by 8 points, and then as you just said there, they were beaten by 4 by Kilkenny. Well beaten by Cork in round 3. Drew with Galway in round 4, and then finished out the group nicely with a double scores victory over Dublin 2-10 to 1-5, and that led us to Sunday. So I suppose that it was on a seeding basis, and they got Kilkenny, who were the top dogs, as it were, who were the leading lights, and it was a more than a difficult task in Mallow, wasn't it, to be facing the side that topped the group?
It was, but I met some of the Limerick. I forgot to mention the name of Kevin O'Connor, who was also involved with it, and whose daughter Aveen is playing full forward. And Aveen, of course, was one of those that had to play both Saturday and Sunday.
Right.
But it was obvious from the start, Tom, that Limerick weren't going to be a pushover. That was quite clear. And then by halftime, they had led by 7 points to 4. Now, it nowhere reflected the superiority of Limerick in the first half. Like how Kilkenny escaped from not conceding a goal. The goalkeeper came out, Aisling Foley robbed her, shot straight on goal, and a cornerback had got back. I think to Sinead Jones, Kilkenny had got back and got it off the line. Kind of living dangerously stuff. But suddenly you thought that normal service was restored after halftime when Ona Kennedy, who was their chief scorer, added 3 points. And then Kilkenny nosed ahead with a point from Sad Shefflin, the daughter of the great man himself, Henry Shefflin.
Yeah,
that was the last time. That was the last time that Kilkenny got in front. Limerick restored their 3 points lead. Kilkenny brought it back to parity again. Limerick went 1 ahead. Kilkenny levelled in injury time. And you said to yourself, we were sitting back and saying, jolly, we have another 20 minutes of this. And you wouldn't refuse it because it was very, very good hurling. And Limerick got a free about 75 metres out. appeared all day to be outside of Caitlin Ryan's range. She had 6 points scored at this stage. Her free taking was a huge, was a huge part of Limerick's success, because she had scored from some very difficult angles, but she hadn't scored from this length. And she walked up to it, and you were saying, this is extra time, and it lobbed over the bar, and it was sensational.
Yeah,
absolutely sensational. And the final whistle was blown after the puck out. So,
what a time to do it. Yeah.
It's one of those days that we kind of suffer that fate rather than, imposing that fate on others. So, it was a magnificent win, and thoroughly deserved, Tom. Thoroughly deserved. And a Pyrrhic victory, that we gave a good match to Kilkenny, would have been a very, very, very unjust result on the day, because Limerick deserved it. It was a 1 point victory, but they deserved it. And they now face Galway, who dethroned the champions, Cork. Right. And Cork looked to be on their way now. Cork looked to be on their way. And it was all changed in 3 minutes. The game was poised at 1-5 apiece. And I think it was Emma Barrett for Galway. She delivered a long ball into the square, deceived everybody into the net. 3 minutes later, Caitlin Walsh, now I don't know why she didn't start, but she came on as a sub. She took a free from about 60 metres out, just inside the Cork half, and with the very same result. Ball deceived the net, deceived the defence, and nestled in the net. Now Cork were 2 points behind, 2 goals behind, and chasing the game. Now they got a late goal from Laura Walsh, and they actually camped in the Galway area for the remainder of the game. But apart from Laura Walsh getting a good goal, they couldn't find a way through, and it's Galway that we are facing in the final. So the omens. If you're looking for omens, when they met in Ballinasloe in round 4, it was Galway 10 points, Limerick 1-7.
Yeah. So
that all was for a very, very special game now. With some great performances by Limerick. Caitlin Ryan at midfield, her 7 points. But Tom Orna Barrett at fullback. Her display was wonderful. Orna Barrett.
Yeah.
At fullback. She played at midfield the day before.
That's what I'm saying.
And she's the team captain. She was absolutely outstanding, Tom. Absolutely outstanding. Not far behind her then was Tara Hines in the half-back line. Again, she had played the day before. Eva Clary at wing-back. Again, she had played the day before. With Amber O'Sullivan-Hunt, corner forward, a dangerous corner forward now. I hate singling out players because it was the consummate team performance, Tom.
Yeah.
And I'm really looking forward to the final in Kilkenny on Saturday.
Yeah.
It's on in Nolan Park at 4:30.
Yeah, that's it. Just to put that up on screen and you're watching, 4:30 p.m. in UPMC Nolan Park this Saturday. It is the main bill of a doubleheader. And look, whatever Matt said about the venue, we'll forget about it. It won't matter little if Little Beats of Silverware comes back to Limerick. But what an exciting!
But I won't forget about it.
We'll forget about it in the short term. We'll hopefully let the ladies go and.
Absolutely. All focus is on getting the better of Galway and a historic first All Ireland at the grade.
Yeah, that'd be fantastic, wouldn't it? Yeah.
We have won the B 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
This is the holy grail, and fair dues to the lads. Back-to-back Munster championships, and now Dermot Ryan was telling me, that he sensed that this was this team's destiny from the time they were under 14s. Right.
Well, he's 60 minutes away from being proven completely right. So
that he was of the opinion that they were a special group, and I think he's been proved right.
Yeah, they're not so far away from it. Okay, well, best wishes to Dermot and indeed the side, as I say, captained by the team fullback Orna Barris. So we're wishing Orna and her colleagues all the best Saturday afternoon in Nolan Park.
Just imagine, Tom, the drain on the injury of of the energy of the 5 girls.
Yeah.
You could just imagine it, like.
Yeah. No, it's a bit
You
excessive.
know,
enough, at least, yeah.
long trip up to Kilbeggan, down, then Mallow. Now Mallow was quite near for Limerick.
Yeah. No, there's a lot in it, in fairness. Yeah.
I just, I'm afraid I don't get it, but I complained to people in Mallow, and 1 or 2 dismissed it. Oh, we should have no dual players.
Right.
That's simplistic.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's the Camogie for this weekend coming. Matt, I think we've covered plenty there now this week. In absence of the club championships, which aren't too far away in terms of hurling and football returning to us. But I think we've covered plenty
Tom,
there.
that the Premier Intermediate hurling is starting the week after this.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's not a million miles away. We'll touch on that next week, I'm sure. And the creme de la creme of the senior championship will be starting a week later than that. So it'll be all coming thick and fast at us across the grades. And indeed, the new Premier Junior Hurling Championship, the Intermediate, Premier Junior. I think the Junior C Championship has already started. There's going to be games galore across the county for the next couple of
the
months.
Junior C Championship has started. There was a full round of it played over the weekend, and seemed to be a lot of teams in it this year. I'm wondering, are they former B teams? I know it's Doon's 4th team anyway, I can tell you that.
Yeah. It's bizarre to see a Limerick club fielding 4 teams. It's not too often we see it happening, but Doon are doing that in the Junior C Championship. So, Matt, I think that's it. I think that's all that's on the clock for this week and all that's on the agenda. So I thank you for your time. Thanks to everyone for listening, and we shall chat to you very